Hi everybody, this is Mr. Bruns. It's July 14th, and today Mr. Mitchell and I are working on the school news, and we came up with the rules and expectations for the class, and I thought I would just walk through that with you. First of all, the goal of school news is to deliver the newscast to the student body every single day. One of the main things that we'll be doing is just going over with two anchor people. They'll be delivering the school announcements, that kind of come across the scroller bar in the cafeteria. We'll be reading those, but also you'll be doing stories on different sporting events and music events and art, among other things as well, that you'll be providing, eventually be putting up online and in the broadcast as well. Obviously, professionalism is the key thing. Just going over rules and expectations. You want to make sure that you're very professional, that if you're the anchor during the week, that you look nice. Again, not saying that you have to dress in a suit and tie, but you have a nice shirt on. You're groomed well, and just look nice. Obviously, also when you're being videotaped, you have to make sure that you obviously don't say anything inappropriate or do any inappropriate type of gestures or symbols or anything like that. Obviously swearing and all that stuff needs to be nipped as well. Now we do have a zero tolerance policy, which means that if you are caught doing that during the taping or broadcast, that you would be kicked out of class. So it is a very serious offense. We want to prevent that from happening, because it would be an embarrassment for the school, but also eventually the community, because everyone in the whole town and the whole country, actually, world for that matter, will have the ability to view this. So we want to make sure that it's in top quality and appropriate for everyone that will be watching it. Also, you have to be on task during class time. During that class, that 45-minute class time that we have, you have to make sure that you're on task. Generally, you'll be given one story to do per week. If you happen to get done with your story early, you start on your next story for the next week. You can also help other people, among other things that will be that you'll have to do, just regularly throughout the class day. Obviously, treat computers and video equipment with utmost respect. We want to treat it like it's your own, because they're very expensive and we don't have to replace them, and you don't have to pay for it if you do break it. Attendance policy, we will follow the school policy. Obviously, it is very important that you're here, especially the days the weeks that you are the anchor. If you are gone and you're scheduled to be anchor, you want to make sure you call the alternate so they know, so they can get here a little early and prepare for that. But if you are gone and have a story due, you are responsible for getting the story up, since a lot of the stuff can be done online outside of school, as long as you have internet access and a computer. But it is important to be in class, to help everyone else out. You will be required to work on stories outside of school, definitely. Obviously, with interviews and basketball and football and music events, it's going to have to take time outside of class. And so those are basically the rules and expectations that we have. Obviously, being the first semester offered, there will be things that I'm sure change as we go throughout. Grading scale. Every day you'll be given 10 points for behavior, just being on task, being good in class, making sure that you are working on your story or helping someone else out on their story. Obviously, every week you'll also be given one story that will be due, and that story will be worth 50 points. Obviously, we're actually, Mr. Mitchell and I, are working on the rubric right now, and obviously professionalism, quality of the story, grammatical and spelling will play a big part in that. Good stories, appropriate stories, among other things that we'll go over on the first day of school via the rubric. Okay, next up we want to talk about the class setup, how things will be set up basically in the class. 2 people per week will be the anchors with one alternate. Okay, during the weeks that you are anchoring, you will not be required to do a story, so you'll be off on the story, but obviously being the anchors, you kind of need to go around and be familiar with all the stories, since you'll be the people giving those stories to the community and the student body. As far as the stories go, you will be working with a partner, and you have one new story per week. And how we're going to set it up, it will be staggered. A couple people may have a story due on Monday, a couple more on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So there'll be a new story go up every single day, which is important for the news blog that we'll be maintaining as well. Okay. There's also a reality show that we're going to be doing. It's called The Newsroom. It's kind of a playoff on The Office. We'll talk more about that on the first day of school. It should be kind of fun and allow some creativity as well within this class. During the class time, obviously, we work on your stories. You can help edit other people's stories, help other people out. You can work on the teleprompter, what people read off when they're the anchors. You can work on your news story for the next week. You can respond to people's questions and comments on the message board or on the news blog. So there's a lot of things that you can do during the class time, because remember, you are graded each day 10 points a day for being on task, and that's 50 points a week. So each week ultimately is 100 points. You got 50 points for your behavior on task and 50 points for your story. Also, a big part of the news class will be the news blog and the message board. A lot of times you watch the news and you hear them say that you can go to the message board to give your feedback, and also their blogs and things like that. Well, we're going to also have that. I've had a news blog now for about a year and a half. Many of you might have participated in that when you're freshmen or sophomores. It's really the same thing. Everything that we do will be put up on the news blog, and so people will be able to access it as well. A lot of times the stories that go on the news blog will be longer than the stories that we show on the newscast, because a lot of times we'd have to edit out. A news blog story might be 3 to 5 minutes, whereas we'd only show like 30 seconds, maybe 50 seconds of it within the actual broadcast, because we wouldn't have. It's only a 5-minute newscast to begin with. We only have 5 minutes to give the whole newscast, and so we can't show a 3 or 5 minute story. That's where we have to cut it down for that. And so we want to make sure we plug that news blog as much as we can. And we also have a message board that's dedicated to this. Obviously, this is for community feedback and questions, where they can go talk about things. So there's a direct link on that on the news blog as well. And as far as story ideas, we have Mr. Mitchell and I kind of brainstormed a lot of story ideas. Some things, obviously basic things, sports stories, doing a football game or volleyball game, a cross-country meet. Another thing we thought would be really cool would be to have some kind of like coach show, like the Coach Blatt show on a Saturday morning. That would be really, really neat. Obviously Coach Blatt's kind of an icon in Harlan and Southwest Iowa and Iowa for that matter. To have a Coach Blatt show on a Saturday morning or Saturday sometime would be unbelievable. That would pull in a lot of viewers. So that's something that I think we need to strive for. Obviously, band and vocal, whether we tape entire performances or get interviews of participants or the teachers there. BPA, Key Club, FFA, Best Buddies, all the different, besides sports and music, all the other organizations in the school. We want to make sure we hit everything. We're not just going to be sports and music. We're going to hit all different aspects of the events and activities in the school. Other things, dances and prom, we want to make sure we hit that. School board meetings is one thing we thought about maybe sending a student to. Mayor videos, how mayors always give their videos out. We want to make sure we get those online. We also brainstorm an idea of maybe having some kind of debate where we can invite the people to come in and give kind of a live debate. Again, that's something that might happen in the future. Anytime there's a new teacher, we want to make sure we have new teacher interviews, new student interviews of new students that come in. We also have ideas of maybe having a student or teacher of the month. Teacher of the month, just interview a teacher, whether not necessarily a new teacher, but any teacher. Just kind of give a biography of that teacher. Where they, when they went to college, how they got to Harlan, why they want to become a teacher, and things like that. School announcements obviously will be a big part of that, where we give the school announcements of that day and for the coming week. Obviously, we want to expand just outside of the school. We want to do community school stories such as the Tiny Lund Festival, Jamming on the Square, city council meetings perhaps, any other event that happens, not just in Harlan, but all the surrounding communities as well, Erling and Portsmouth and Defiance and all the others. Another thing that we talked about was the 2008 election. We would kind of like to have students at every single precinct throughout Shelby County to kind of do exit interviews. It's kind of it's a really neat idea, something that we'll definitely brainstorm and think about once we start school. And then, of course, we'd open it up for creative stories that you guys would have, because really it's your class. We want to make sure that you guys have input as well, especially being the first semester. We're going to both learn a lot and grow a lot throughout this semester. And being a history teacher, another exciting aspect of this is the fact that 3 or 4 years, 5 years down the road, we're really documenting Harlan Community High School's history. It's really exciting for me to go And also for you, let's say you're in college, you're just out of college, you go back and you see all this stuff you used to be in. It's really neat, and I think that's a big aspect of this for me as well, is documenting the history of Harlan community. So anyway, I look forward, Mr. Mitchell and I both look forward to the class. We're really excited for it to start. And we look forward to seeing you on the 13th of August. Till then, see you. Thanks.